Hello, Blood Bowl fans from across the globe. It's time to get in to another game from the first week of Division 5M of the REBBL Blood Bowl League. We should waste no time jumping in because we are joining a little bit late here today. So we're still a part of week number 1, which means we have got ourselves some fresh and delicious teams to contend with. So make sure everything is working okay from my side, because it was misbehaving itself quite a lot. Maybe it's still doing that. What is happening? What is happening? While I wrestle with my restream, which seems to be... Okay, no, it is transmitting, it's just giving me rather conflicting information. Alright, never mind all of that. To the game itself. So we've got the Drunk Mystic running the Necromantic squad, which are on the bottom of your screen, up against Sardaor, who I haven't actually been able to grab hold of how to pronounce that name, running the Houses of Westeros. You'll notice a theme from the Houses of Westeros, that they are all named after Game of Thrones folks. And why not? Why not indeed? So with the Houses of Westeros going to be the ones receiving, it looks like they've ended up with a little bit more werewolves in their lives than perhaps they would have otherwise hoped for. So we've got a 2 werewolf start for the Drunk Mystic, and both of them, Rabid Ronnie and Max Howler, why they are both charging their way up the field and looking pretty scary while I do so. That extra bit of punching power afforded by the claws that the werewolves get as standard will allow them to deal pretty darn well with that dwarven armor, given the chance to do so. And when you've got 8 movement, you are going to be pretty hard to deny wherever the ball ends up on the pitch. The dwarves, they have held themselves pretty close in the line. I thought that was the referee for a second, but no, it's a zombie. So I presume what we missed as we were connecting in was a blitz result to start us off here today. So we will see a screen set up by the dwarves, the no block on the werewolf, and instantly Max Howler is injured. That is extremely bad. At least it's only badly hurt and there's a chance of a regeneration. So maybe okay, Max Howler badly hurt, out for the rest of the game? Yes! But hey, it could be a lot worse. That is a 120 team value on the team. So I think quite grateful to not have to worry about being dead. Update my notes there. Alright, so that is 120 stripped out the team value straight away. Both flesh golems down as well. Hey, it's SJCT Source. Screw wolves! You take that back, sir. You take that back. Wolves, one of my favourite players in the game. They are just absolutely ludicrous. They are extremely annoying, so I can understand why you might have such strong feelings towards them, Source. So, with the werewolf Max Howler taken out of commission in the dwarves' first turn, this has limited their offensive options down the left-hand side. Fortunately, at least Rabid Ronnie can probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Could still go for 1. Wolves, War Dancers, Gut Runners all deserve to die. No regen and no apothecary. Source, you are a fierce individual and I can respect your strongly held beliefs. Beliefs? Both of them. As both flesh golems are going to stand up for the Mausoleum Maniacs. So this very, very aggressive player putting out your most valuable players from the Maniacs into the line of fire has Bit Mystic in the behind, which does mean, of course, now all the attention will be focused across to Ronnie. It's worth noting what the Mystic gave up in order to get to werewolves, as he'll make, of course, the blitz. One, there we go, the claw, making good use of it there to get a stun onto Seaworth. What Mystic has given up, which I think they must have... Did they get it back from the... I believe they only came into this with 2 rerolls, so I don't know if the kickoff result allowed for that or some kind of shenanigans. because I'm pretty sure they came with this with only 2 rerolls, but 3 in the bank now means they should be able to get away with some of their lack of skills. As, oh boy, wasting no time at all, going to go in for a foul. Who is the lucky person? It's Brittle Barry, not expecting to stay on the pitch for very long, going for an early foul. Unfortunately, no assists there. I mean, it's only a chance. So, Source, I'm assuming that being you're a coach who loves to go for murders on expensive players, you were a fan of fouling, as yes, that was a very bold play from Mystic, who's already down 1 player, and with that foul there, he was making a better shot at getting their own player off of the pitch from rolling a double on the foul roll than they were from actually injuring that dwarf by rolling a 10 or more on 2 dice. Dirty player and some assists, why, that's a whole different story. But right now the Dwarves are setting themselves up nicely down the side of the pitch. Firmly in the hands of Martel, with backup from who's there, buddy? It's going to be Tully. Tully and Martel together at last. The Blitz comes in to try and clear out Leprous Liam. It will be a chain push, but do they want to try and push out Baratheon to get them into maybe a better position? It looks like it will be the case. Bonk, bonk. Which leaves Sir Ryan the Rotted in a bit of an awkward position here. So the Necromantic best weapon against the Dwarves, the one remaining werewolf, Rabid Ronnie, over on the other side of the pitch, is not ideal, especially with a lot of other pieces backing up Ronnie. This is giving a pretty big open door for the Dwarves to come charging through. Every one of the Necromantic teams stand up. He's going to get knocked over as a stand firm there for Trevor, the Titan, getting a chance to prove their name early on. That stand firm certainly gets in the way of a lot of advances, Dwarven or otherwise. I got myself some coffee. Let's see how well the coaches wake up. So, for the Drunk Mystic, they need to get themselves back across and into contact with that ball if they can. We know, of course, that Ronnie has got a ludicrous amount of movement, so actually getting to the ball may not actually be a particularly challenging proposition. We've got a couple of different avenues to make pushes from. Could go for a train push there. There we go. Alright, Ronnie's not going to be used for the blitz. Instead, he's just going to go after the Troll Slayer, gets a second stun in as many blocks. But that does mean some of the offensive options for the Necromantic team have now been shut down. So, second dwarf hitting the dirt. What are you going to do with these zombies, though? They have got such low movement. It looks to be that the Necromantic team will try and get themselves out in front of the cage once more rather than trying to hit it from the side. That's a good hit from Trevor the Titan, certainly earning their paycheck so far. Does mean there's a little bit more down. It will be a push back onto Aaron, keeping them away from the relevant areas. So the zombies and the white Sir Ryan the Rotted, the ones left to account for in this turn. Unfortunately, the assist is not there for Sir Ryan, and there's probably not going to be one forthcoming. Unfortunate placement here. While there's a numbers advantage for the Necromantic team, it would need to be Leprous Liam who made the block there onto Pain to get the 2 dice and start the good times rolling. So with this whole setup here, it's very likely the Necromantic team are going to get chain pushes. We're going to see another foul in as many turns. This is at least onto a lower armor value player. Isn't punished with a send-off again. Sauce, what do you think of this saucy display from Gutless Gary? Making a most gutless move indeed, as it's going to be the blitz from the Zombo friend Brittle Barry. Gets a bad roll, but re-rolls it into a defender stumbles. And gets another armor break. Oh gosh, these dwarves not as well armored as you might have expected. So this really does evaporate up Sardaror's right hand flank. They're gonna have to punch through here as a no reroll 1 dice block sends Sir Ryan off of the pitch. A risky move, would have been a lot better with that reroll. Source, you like the foul on the Slayers? They certainly have got the lowest armor on the dwarf team, and yeah, they're much more worthwhile, whereas the unassisted foul on to Seaworth before on an AV9 player who isn't even one of the better players on the team A little tough to justify. But, I mean, all of the dwarves are very good pieces, so I guess there isn't really a non-valuable piece to take away. So the two zombies, Leprous Liam and Dim-Witted Dennis, are going to get slapped around in the midst of all these dwarves, proving to be a little bit more resilient than their more expensive necromantic counterparts. This will be a frenzy hit here from Greyjoy, which should get that zombie friend Liam well out of the way of the rest of the dwarves. This has kind of held their front pieces in place for now. I think it's only going to be a matter of time though. There we go. So the advance down the side makes a lot of sense. Liam, if this goes really badly, Liam will at least only end up over here rather than directly in contact with the ball. But a defender stumbles, we'll probably send her back to here instead. So it should be fine. There we go. No movement. Just a oh, jeez. Well, Leprous Liam is out of here. The first death of the undead necromantic team. Nicely done. So, Mystic's going to have to make up some replacements from the Dwarven supply, I suspect. Alright, so what's our situation here if we're the necromantic? Yes, zombies do generally regen. I think it's because you don't tend to really remember vividly when they don't. So it's starting to look a little bit dicey for the Mausoleum Maniacs. They have taken multiple player removing injuries, as Trevor, who's the only good boy on the whole team, that's right, I said it, the only good boy, is trying to get out of here. And actually the Flesh Columns are doing a pretty good job so far. Who was it who died? It was Leprous Liam. Let me just note down the Leprous Liam has left the building. We're down to 820 team value, as Aaron is KO'd. Nice. Not bad at all. I think that's going to be the first actual casualty or something approaching that on the Dwarven side. Lots of stuns so far, thanks to that tasty claw. But unfortunately the claw hasn't really been applied to the ball carrier. So it's Aaron. Excuse me. Aaron is KO'd. It's not too shabby. Excuse me, should have alt-tabbed out there. Just, hey Floppy, welcome to the stream. We're doing some Blood Bowls for the REBBL Blood Bowl League. We're watching the Drunk Mystics Mausoleum Maniacs Necromantic team having a tough time here against the Dwarven squad. You can tell they're dwarves because their beards are long and their advancing up the pitch seems to be unstoppable. It's only Sir Charles the Cursed who's a realistic obstacle to entry. And of course, we're going to need to see something pretty big this turn. Alright, it's going to be the go-in. It's going to be push back. I think it's going to... Oh, hello. Okay. I expected to see Martel push back to the edge of the pitch. But instead, Dim-Witted Dennis is pushed further in there, as we do see a knockdown onto Seaworth. Okay. This doesn't seem terrible. Ploppy, happy to have you along, lurking or otherwise. Alright, so we're back over to the houses of Westeros. What have you guys got for us so far? It's going to be a slap onto Rabid Ronnie. Drunk Mystic again, putting at the most valuable players in every respect of the word of the necromantic team into harm's way. This time doesn't get clobbered. That is one werewolf out for the rest of the game. Let's see if the Flesh Columns can continue to perform. Of course, only the whites having a block this time round. For the necromantic team. Means those blocks are never really too reliable. Those 1 in 9 chances of all kinds of getting screwed up. Dennis, the zombie, is going to get rendered into mostly irrelevancy by getting left behind by the majority of the Dwarven squad. It's tough. I mean, Alright, we didn't get to see the Troll Slayer actually surf the white off the pitch, but we're getting pretty darn close. The only problem with this, of course, is that we don't leave a lot of avenues for Martel to go out. They can either run right forward here past everything, which is... it's okay, but Gutless Gary then has a straight line to you. Or maybe you just don't go anywhere at all, which in itself is a little odd. I don't know. I mean, we've got a fair few turns left to work with. 3 more turns after this. Zombie hero going for it. 1 dice blitz incoming. I think that will totally happen. Yes, potato it. Ploppy, if anyone else is not aware, potatoing is to put your player out undefended by themselves because it's fun to do. I've done it. If you ever play the game, Ploppy, you'll do it as well. Everyone loves to put their potato out to be harvested by the opposing team. I mean, occasionally it can work out right, but a lot of the time it doesn't work out very well at all. And it looks like the answer is just to do nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So, this is an awkward situation because Ronnie is going to have to shoulder the weight of a lot of the responsibility for getting this game done. Unfortunately, their frenzy is quite likely to lead them next to Greyjoy by the time this turn is said and done. As... what? That didn't seem like a good idea. Alright, well... Mystic has senses beyond the mortal ken. Hey Lemon Blue, welcome back. Yes, a curious dodge into 2 tackle zones leaves the Dwarves able to just grab hold of that ball once more and advance further down the pitch. I presume there was going to be an attempted blitz and maybe just a misclick on the part of Drunk Mystic. That's a shame. That did happen in our first game as well. I really do wish the game had a prompt for, that seems like a bad move you're doing right now, are you sure about that? That you can have on while you're learning the game. Or, I'd honestly probably still have it on the whole time. If I'm going to make a 1 in 6, I want to get prompted by the game to just make sure. Dauntless coming in, and it will be a held in place Flesh Golem. These guys have been doing great so far, but that still means a second hit coming through. Both of those would put the Flesh Golem on the ground. No armor break. These guys are pretty good though. I really love them as players. They do a whole lot of work. Unfortunately, where they'd like to be, which is in the path of the Dwarven Cage, they are a million miles away from the ball right now, really not doing anything at all. They at least haven't fallen over and gotten taken off the pitch as yet. Oh my gosh, are we about to see a Dwarven foul? Say it ain't so, but it might be. Werewolves, as Source said, you know, very, very happy to go in after things. Hey, Ramhar, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you from across from the New Lands. What division are you playing in at the in Rebel at the moment, Ramhard? I saw a few people's names while I was going through all of the teams in the league, but I kind of glossed over after a while. 3A, nice. What is 3A like? 5M is sort of middling. I think there's maybe a little bit more of an emphasis on bashy teams. And also, Ramhar, which team are you playing? Alright, back to the game itself. The Necromantic team may well have given up any chance of getting a good outcome in this first half. Yeah, Source, some fresher faces joining Rebel. Some strange plays. I don't agree with such things. 3's got some good coaches, elves and dodgy teams. Ah, Chaos. Well, at least your Chaos team's got a tackle. That's not a guarantee. But yes, it's pretty easy to avoid that tackle if there's only one on the pitch. Alright, we've got the 1 dice block. We've got the push. Oof, this is rough. We got the knockdown, alright. Rabid Ronnie is trying to do one for the team here. So the Martel, the runner, can still just run in and grab the score in the end. We know that the werewolf number 2, Max Howler, is not coming back this game. Yep, no punish for those 1 dice blocks. I don't really know what else the Necromantic team can do at this point, because of the failed dodge before. I say failed dodge, that's a fairly generous way of interpreting it. The misclick. Oh, speaking of failed dodges, there goes down Max Howler. Seems to survive the experience, which at this point for Mystic, being down 2 players, including 1 very dead zombie. Double dead? I don't even know what you call a dead undead. Maybe there's that two negatives make a positive when it comes to life force, in which case they are double dead. Maybe they're alive again. I think we're going to be seeing a surf for our good friend Sir Charles the Cursed, of course cursed with a rather enormous pair of ears, as it's going to be another injury for the Necromantic team. Oof. It's not going to be no regens so far. That's 3 injuries and no regens. That has got to hurt quite a lot. Sir Charles the Cursed is taken out with the badly hurt. And let's see, it was Leprous Liam, I believe? Yes, who is now all kinds of dead. We are down to an effective team value. And let's see. There we go. I'll send you guys my notes in case you're interested in looking at them. I didn't actually get the too many notes done today. It was all a little last minute. But you can at least see the team tracker. So we can see that we have got a team value of 730,000 for the Maniacs. Currently live 930 for the Houses of Westeros. They are winning in a big way. If this was the start of a match, you'd be able to afford a Wizard and a Bloodwiser Babes right now. Of course, a lot of that's tied up with the missing werewolf. Sadly, no longer part of this game. Max Howler badly hurt. I mean, could have been a lot worse. One of the concerns for the Necromantic team with this particular setup is they've still got to get their 3rd reroll. They still got to get a ghoul. Losing players at this point is not great. A zombie's probably the best player you could possibly lose, as we have got a runner. Surely we've got to see Gutless Gary go for a blitz on to Tully there. Surely. I don't know if Dimwit to Deathness had the chance to get down there. You've got to go for a crowd stuff though, surely. Alright, no, guess you're not going to. Okay, so Greyjoy is going to be the target from... Oh, hello. He's going to get turfed up. He's going to get stunned. There's been a lot of stuns so far, but unfortunately the Maniacs only managing to break armor in a single instance onto Aaron, one of the Longbeards. I think the Flesh Golem's definitely the MVP so far, but unfortunately their positioning is a million miles away from where they want to be. And so they're just going to carry on being more or less an irrelevancy. We have seen some very ambitious fouls coming in from Mystic. I say ambitious, I mean crazy. I can imagine that's going to probably continue since there is a down Troll Slayer. They are a decent fouling target. So every expectation that they're going to get fouled unless... Well, actually no, they're not going to, because Sardayor is going to score the next turn. Does at least give the Mystics 1 free turn of Dwarf Slapping, but it gives 2 chances for the KO'd Aaron to come back and join the Dwarf team. So it's much for muchness really, unless we see an actual injury on the next line of scrimmage coming up momentarily. Then I think it's going to be a probably full strength Dwarven team with 2 chances to recover their KOs. And it's a real contrast when you look at the rerolls. 0 for Drunk Mystic, 3 for Sardayor. A real testament to how little pressure the Dwarves have been put under here, that the Necromantic team has had to burn through all of their rerolls. I did wonder if we were going to see a foul onto Ronnie, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I think the Dwarves are probably pretty happy with how things are right now, as I don't know if this is just Lannister getting some SVP fed to them. It is an armor break, it's only a stun. The flesh golems, of course, being very, very high armor, means it's very unlikely that we're going to be seeing them coming through and getting any additional damage poured towards them. Alright, so heading into almost the end of the first half, and there we go. The KO comes back again. All the little work that managed to get done for Drunk Mystic's squad in the first half has been most sadly erased. So we are down to 8 active players for the Maniacs, back up to 11 for the Houses of Westeros. So I think it's just going to be some Longbeards on the front. Hopefully we don't see any more fouls coming those Longbeards. We really want to save those potential fouls for some more valuable players if possible. Certainly the Troll Slayer, I mean, as I said, it's not a huge amount in it. The Troll Slayer's worth 70, Blitzers and Runners worth 80, and the Troll Slayer's worth 90, but I suspect for their utility on the pitch, the Troll Slayers are probably going to be the focus, if at all possible. And I think we're going to see them pretty firmly protected here. No. Interesting. It's going to be hard to get a 2-dice block on them still. So I don't think we see Rabid Ronnie going for a blitz. Though I'd imagine they will probably go for a blitz onto somebody. Ugh. Alright, well, I don't know if that really changes too much for the houses. It probably means that they get their dwarves away from the werewolf. Oh, okay. Apparently not. That's what I would have expected, but I don't know if it really makes a huge difference here. There might well be just one. Okay, so they're going to make a setup to make it hard for the werewolves to go in and successfully make the blitz or make their block because of the frenzy follow-up. No rerolls means there's a decent chance of this going awfully. As without the ghoul and without the second werewolf for Mystic, there's not really. Oh wow, yes, that's right. There's no whites. Wait, are there no whites left at all? Oh sheesh. Wow, this has been a pretty appalling game. Alright, so we're immediately going for the Frenzy block, which is going to turn into a 1-dice block. Yeah. Alright, well that could have gone worse, but it definitely could have gone better as well. Missing out on a claw hit is a major disadvantage for the Necromantic squad. Probably could have sent up another assist there. That's a missed opportunity. So, with no ball carrier, unless we do see our KO'd white come back to the fields, here's the blitz going through. No particular offensive skills. And I think we'll see a second hit as well. Seaworth looking like they might have taken a bit of a drubbing before the match even started. But there we go, Necromantic team, they got their free turn. They got basically nothing out of it. So for the Maniacs, as we head into the second half, will we see a returning? No, we won't see a returning white. Oh boy. So if I don't miss my guess, let's just double check to make sure that my records are correct. Yes, 4 removed players means we are down to just 7 Necromantic. And with a full strength Dwarven team, this is looking extremely rough. So this was one of the concerns coming into this game, is that we were seeing werewolves sent deep into Dwarven territory early on, making them extremely vulnerable. While the werewolves themselves have movement 8, no one else on the rest of the team, apart from maybe ghouls, which haven't yet been bought for the Necromantic team. And so if no one else can keep up with those werewolves, then they become extremely vulnerable, and that's what happened. They got absolutely slaughtered. Badly hurt for one, and knockouts for the whites with the lower armor. It's all going to come down to how well these flesh golems can hold back those Tyler dwarves, as Rabin Roddy will be the ball carrier. Now, being a movement 8 player, there's a decent chance we're going to see them going through, and ooh, So Ronnie's going to need to carry the ball, and can do it pretty fast. But with a blitz result for Sordor, the Houses of Westeros are going to get in some pretty heavy action. Let's check around on the SPP count. So Baratheon and Greyjoy both getting injuries so far. Martell getting the score. Very nice, very nice. The Dwarves look like they're going to now envelop the Necromantic team, with the ball landing all the way over in the far corner. This blitz turn could really shut down a lot of avenues of advancement. Still, the actual damage done has been pretty minimal. It's going to be a tough one for the Drunk Mystic to claw their way back out of this hole, especially since now their ball carrying piece is going to be dedicated. Sorry, their best offensive remaining piece is going to be dedicated to ball carrying duty. This really, really limits what Mystic can do in terms of fighting. In fact, I almost think that option's off of the table. So you've got to see a pickup for Ronnie. No one else can really go and cover apart from a choice. Does Gutless Gary move to the side and enable a block, or do they get in the way of the advancing Dwarves on the right hand flank to stop a potential disaster if the pickup goes awry? Saldor could just easily walk in with their short hands and grab that ball if the pickup with a fair reroll puts that opportunity into the Dwarves' hand. Both of the trolls, both of the golems going for blocks, both of them being denied, just pushes. But again, could be quite a lot worse. Seems to be that we're going to be seeing the more conservative option from Mystic, putting one of the zombies in the way. Goes to the pickup, will find it into those clawy hands. So with that extra movement, it's going to be able to move back into a central position. Ronnie looking up at a field full of angry dwarves and wondering where, oh where did it go so very wrong. It's going to be a zombie knocked down the middle of the pitch, and Nimble Nobby is all kinds of stun. So now we look for ways for the Necromantic team to salvage a game that seems to be wildly out of control. The Flesh Golems will at least hold the center pretty darn well. Even if they get knocked over, they'll have held at least 2 dwarves in place. With the move of Gutless Gary, that does make it harder for the Dwarves to make a move in after the ball this turn. But they're not going to get drawn away from the Flesh Golem, as there's the block, there's a knockover. Trevor the Titan stays available for duty for the time being. So we're really looking for places that we could see Rabid Ronnie break through the line. Maybe up the right hand side, maybe through the center. It's pretty risky though, because as you can see, the movement range for Ronnie only really gets them into the heart of the Dwarven formation, not really beyond it, where they would like to be. And while the Dwarves may be slow, they're not slow enough to really hang around right in front of. As we will see another knockdown, that's going to be a dim-witted Dennis knocked to the mat, but fortunately still alive. We could see a 1 dice block here against Frankie Flesh Ripper. But I think for the time being is okay. Running in is Tully. That's a bold play. We've got a Blitz still live, so it's going to be cleaning out Flesh Ripper. The push, nothing happening. Aha! Not sure. Well, okay, so that time Stand Firm wasn't used. That means Frankie moved back. Maybe just trying to draw him in, but the block, and there is an armor break flank. Frankie Flesh Ripper, gosh, try and say that 5 times fast, is going to be stunned and out of commish. The good news, such as it is for the Drunk Mystic, is while they may not be rich in players or indeed in werewolves or that rich in rerolls, they are rich in time. There's plenty of turns left to find a way up the pitch. It's still looking like well, at the moment, the right-hand flank would look better if it wasn't for Frankie getting stunned, which means there's only these 2 zombies holding the right-hand flank in their entirety. On the other side, we've got a flesh golem and a zombie. Numbers are dwindling quite rapidly. So, let's see. We've got 5 dwarves against 2 zombies. And we've got 5 dwarves against a flesh golem and a zombie. It would seem to be that left-hand flank is the best of several bad options here for the Maniacs. So I'd expect we can at least see a 2-dice block. We can see a 2-dice frenzy block there. With a reroll, I could see Lannister getting pushed away and running up the side. With the flesh golem being able to hold and stand firm there, there's actually a decent possibility that the dwarves aren't able to knock him over. It's not great, but it's certainly better than gambling your hopes on 2 zombies. But no! Mystic has different ideas. Instead, it's going to go up to the right-hand flank. Will get a knockdown. That's huge. Does get an injury onto Baratheon. That is also pretty major. It's a badly hurt, so nothing too devastating, but still. This is important for what it means for Mystic. Which is that's 1 less dwarf on the pitch for good. And a clear path for Rabid Ronnie to run up. The only problem here is that they've run out of movement in doing so. They're going to need to make going for it to try and get away. At least Gutless Gary is there as a bodyguard. But we can see, already that we've got players coming in from multiple sides onto the ball carrier. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. At least we'll see back a few extra pieces in a few turns. Frankie and Nobby both going to recover eventually. As I think the dwarves are just about to swarm on to Rabid Ronnie the Werewolf. We'll see how it all works out. So there's the assist coming in from Tully. And I'm fully expecting to see Greyjoy going for actual murdering duties for maximum chances at the ball. With that frenzy. And there we go. Coming in, making the big hit. Give it the big slap. And doink! It's not an injury, so Drunk Mystic gonna thank their lucky stars there as the ball goes. Okay. Into the hands of Gutless Gary. Alright, Gary. The whole game's on your shoulders. As the stun will keep out Ronnie from the rest of... Well, not the rest of the game, but a good portion of the rest of the game. I think we're going to need to see some 6+ dodges. As clonk! Look at those rune-encrusted fists. Brittle Barry gets to take a little bit of a dirt nap. Fortunately, as a zombie, they're quite used to that. So no harm done. As the dwarves are moving in force over to the right-hand flank, knowing there's very little ball movement possibility here. So Dennis and Frankie can get up into the heart of the pile of dwarves, as can Trevor. I don't know if they do that at this point, because they are surely just going to get knocked down all over again. But hey, we got to see that miracle play. Let's see. So agility 2. I think it's got to be a 6+. Oh, hello. Yeah. Well, that's the reroll gone. And the incredibly slow Trevor the Titan Flesh Golem. I mean, that was probably one of the very few favourable blocks you could go for, so fair enough. Do you get up the other players? Looks to be the Mystic is still up for a scrap. Still up for being SPP balloons waiting to be popped. With no reroll, Mystic has to figure out a way to get the ball out of this extremely precarious situation. There's always a chance of making a dodge up to here and then away. But we are also talking about an extremely slow player at the best of times. Yes, do it! It's a pass up the pitch! Mystic! You beast! I didn't even think of the pass, and that's more on me. I think that was... Yeah, it was a 5+ pass from -3 tackle zones with agility 2, and they made it. While the ball wasn't catched, that was the best possible outcome there, so all credit to Mystic. Roll them dice. I think it certainly made a heck of a lot more sense than the dodge, because that was just never going to happen. Dwarves trying to play with their star point pinatas. Not getting any so far, though we do have a stun there. Onto Dimwitted Dennis. Alright, so Trevor the Titan. As befits the rest of the game, Mystic's Flesh Golems are the only ones left standing. We will be seeing the return of Rabid Ronnie, though I say this. I legitimately think it's a possibility we see... Oh, hello. Dauntless. And... Clobbered. Okay, well the game is 0-1. Sardor has basically won this game, barring anything absurd happening. The Flesh Golems are going to get clobbered again and again and again. While Rabid Ronnie will be back up on his clawed twinkle toes, and probably will be able to get a 1-dice block to get out of this predicament. While the ball remains up towards the centre, there's always a possibility, no matter how slim, that we see Nimble Nobby go for the ball and run it up the pitch. I mean, admittedly, I think the Dwarves are pretty able to at least keep pace, if not overtake Nobby at that point. So, we'll see. I mean, Martel themselves doesn't actually make that any harder to do. But at least is in position. Alright. Mystic, you found one way out when all avenues seemed closed with an amazing pass. In fact, I'm going to note that down. That was from Gutless Gary, right? Or was that from Dimwitted? I think it was Gutless Gary, who made amazing passer. Must have been an elf. Alright, there's the blitz. Doesn't really get too much done, but at least means that we've got Dwarves tied up with the Flesh Golem. So that's good stuff, good stuff. Also, this isn't great because even Brittle Barrier, it's going to be a 1-dice block for these two Dwarves now. So, good blitz there for Trevor. Mystic, in a tough spot. Does mean that Ronnie will probably not be getting up this turn. Though, to be fair, that's a runner and a Troll Slayer, so not actually that likely to get knocked over if they do. There we go, back up on his feet. Not going to go for the miracle play this time. It's tough. I mean, Mystic's only got one more reroll left, and they would have had to have gone for a dodge and a pickup, probably burning that last reroll along the way. Maybe holding out with the 4 remaining turns so they can find a more promising proposition. As I think that is going to be Trevor the Titan clonked successfully, freeing up Martel to make a run in on the ball and try and look for a 2-0 in the Houses of Westeros' first game. Turns out I was wrong about Ronnie being safe though, as an assist comes in, successfully clonkerized, and I imagine their buddy Gutless Gary is going to suffer the same fate shortly. At least Ronnie's proven to be considerably more tough to take out than Max Howler was, who got taken out almost immediately. Ooh, Brittle Barry. Taken off the pitch. So that is down now to just 6 players for the Maniacs. Still though, I believe the Flesh Golems have only taken an armor break once so far this game, despite being pretty much in the center of the action the whole time though. Okay, so Ronnie is definitely a much more promising ball sacker. That's how to go, awkward turn of phrase. But can get up from here and dodge away. No, it's going to be... Okay, it's going to be Trevor. Gets the defender down. Really needs an armor break here. We'll get it. It's only a stun, but that does mean that we'll need to see at least one more dwarf brought in to look for help. Okay. So for the Drunk Mystic, the chances of getting the game back to a draw seem pretty minimal. But they can at least do the rest of the league a favour and make sure the Dwarves remain as un-SPP fed as possible. And I very much do appreciate that, Mystic. Let's see. So, are we going to see anything from Ronnie? We have got a 2-dice block. That's going to be Tyrell. Eventually some of this Armor 9 is going to give in anything more than a stun. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't. We've got a reroll. So, do we see Ronnie going to lap around? Ronnie would be extremely well positioned to take out the ball carrier if they can survive the dodge. We've got a nimble knobby zombie hiding up at the top. Very easy to forget about those. Mystic. What do we got here? We've got the dodge. Ooh, this is before getting up the zombie. We're going to see the reroll coming in 67%. It's good. And Werewolf Chum, Rabid Ronnie, is away and in a very good position to look for the ball carrier in these final 3 turns. I do not see that ball getting up and into a touchdown zone, but Martel scored the last goal. Scoring a touchdown here would instantly level them up and I assume end up with them getting blocked, making them a pretty decent ball carrier. Right now, the runners have one of the very few points of weakness on the Dwarven Blood Bowl team with a lack of block. Everybody else has it in spades. So closing up some of those weak points will be important for the Dwarves in this first season. It's another knockdown of Flesh Golem. Trevor continues to take the hits. AV9 and Thick Skull means that they will stick around through thick and thin. So now we've got a little bit of an awkward situation here. Oh, hello. As the zombies are going to get clobbered, as you'd expect. The dwarves kind of broken off into 2 packs, one over here, one over here. There's not really... Okay, well, we're going to go for the 1 dice block on Rabid Ronnie. 3 rerolls. The going for it fails. Now down to no reroll. A skull would send things off. So, another roll. What's it going to be? No! Mystic pushed to the very edge of the pitch and the edge of reason itself by Greyjoy. No luck all day long. Excuse me, it's not my actual mouse wheel that's doing this. It's, as far as I can tell, it's just the game. Alright, there we go. So what is Mystic going to do? We've got the golems tied up right now. The zombies, including Nimble Nobby, who got forgotten about at the top of the pitch. Shameful. Absolutely shameful. It's a failed... No, it's not a failed 1 dice block. Wait, is it? That was confusing. What, was that a 1 dice block? Maybe I just missed it. Okay, well, this game is going to be 2-0. Unfortunately, a swathe of early injuries really put pay to Mystic being able to put up too much of a fight in this game. Fortunately, for the most part, they've managed to avoid permanent injury, though that's going to be a leveled up runner and a few other smattering of SPP around the place to keep the home fires burning. Man, this has been a quick game. We are clocking in at under an hour for this one. I think last time it was about a couple of hours. But I guess some of our turns have been extremely short. That's hello. Oh, that was just a failed block. I think the dwarves are probably just going to sit next to the end zone. I mean, they can't avoid getting hit, so okay. It looks like instead we're going to see an early touchdown for the Hazards of Westeros. I think, presumably, Sardor is a believer that they can survive the initial retaliatory onslaught from the Necromantic team and then hit them back in turn and want more time to be able to do that. There we see the injuries, the KOs. There has not been a single KO recovery for the Maniacs so far. Definitely want to sleep this one out as much as possible. Oh boy, so again that means we've got no white, we've got no ghouls, we've got 1 werewolf to work with. Mystic has no rerolls and only 2 turns to do anything at all. I'm not even sure at this point if there's been any SPP game from this game at all for Mystic. It's pretty freaking rough. Oh, we're seeing... Ooh. The flesh golems put right at the back of the pitch. Are we about to see the Flesh Golems doing a passing marathon? I think that's exactly what we're about to see. There is a knockdown. Just put Ronnie right into the line of fire, but I think Ronnie did get an injury before. Or did inflict an injury, but is now about to get passed around the Dwarves as well. So, not sure how I feel about that. As the receiving Flesh Golems, with no rerolls, are going to really struggle to pick up the ball with AG2 and then pass the ball and catch the ball, all with AG2. One dice block does not go well. Oh boy. Not a good look. Not a good look indeed. As the Westeros are going to get every opportunity to give Ronnie a bit of a slapping. I fully expect that once Gutless Gary is taken care of, we'll probably see another attempt at Ronnie. Werewolves, of course, the bane of all who possess high armor. Dwarves being one of those, very heavily invested in making sure this does not go forwards. This will, of course, though, only be the only time these two teams will face up against each other, so no direct benefit to the Dwarves for taking out the Werewolves here. In fact, if anything, they might be encouraging them to become stronger, get that mighty blow, and deal with their other opponents for them, but we'll see what happens. Clonked. And there we go. The door is now open for, I presume, Lannister, though I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Greyjoy going for this one, because they've already got SVP. There we go. On to the Astroturf. Rabbit Ronnie is injured. Badly hurt. No regens so far. And still no regens. Oh my gosh. No KO recoveries. No regens. It has been a dark day for the Mausoleum Maniacs. As we do have the charge forwards looking for that ball. I mean, there's no way that ball gets into the end zone. But hey. So what are we down to now? Badly hurt. So we're down to 5 active players. We're down to 480 TV for the Mausoleum Maniacs compared to Westeros's 930. As, oh boy, we're getting those vanity passes coming in. There we go. It's 1 SPP for Martel, the player, one of the players who needed it the least. But the Blitzers with AG3, not the world's worst receivers either. It's the end of the game. Oh yeah. Alright, so there we go. It looks like Tyrell getting the MVP there. Brittle Barry, who was the most enthusiastic. I can't remember if they were the one who was fouling the whole time, but... oh, there we go. So it wasn't exactly a 0 SPP game for Mystic, but it was pretty darn close. Rabid Ronnie getting 1 injury for Westeros, managing to level up their runner and also stack up a bunch of other players for future enjoyment. Alright guys, so this is going to bring us to the end of this particular game. I think there may well be the chance to see the third and final game of the week later on if time allows. But for now, thank you guys for dropping by and joining us. As congratulations to the Doomballs for winning out there against the Mordor squad. Very nice, very nice. We'll see you guys next time, and have yourselves a lovely day and